Hello, this is Chang on Doctoral Program. 안녕하세요. English Department. Now I'll start my presentation on Radio Vengeance, directed by Chan-wook, focusing on articles written by Peter Paik, Nikki Lee, and Julian Stringer. This is the table of contents of my presentation. Okay, let's get started. Before talking about Radio Vengeance, I'll talk about film noir in South Korea. First of all, I'm going to talk about features of film noir in South Korea in the post-Korean War, especially in the Black Hair and the Last Witness. Based on Nikki Lee and Julian Stringer, the film Black Hair, directed by Lee, shows features as film noir. So they say, Black Hair may well be described as the most noiristic of Korean movies in that showing of a complex tale of murder, blackmail, and betrayal. In the film, Yeon-sil with the black hair can see in the posture takes the role of femme fatale. All features as film noir in The Last Witness, directed by Lee Do-young. Lee and Stringer say that the film shows the complex of the dark streets, conspiracies, and mysteries connected to tragedies lying in the Korean War, South Korea versus North Korea. Okay, now I'll get started with Radio Vengeance. I'm going to talk about why Radio Vengeance is the genre of film noir at first. In Radio Vengeance, we can see that Gamja fights against Mr. Baek after her imprisonment. As the woman in noir, she starts the main conflict of the narrative. She also strengthens the life of Mr. Baek, male protagonist. Okay, I'm going to talk about the issue of moral law versus love of murder, focusing on how Kumja's burdens of atonement increase onto kidnapped victims and their families. We can see that Kumja's fellow prisoners, Kim Yang-hee, Oh So-hee, Oh So-young, Oh Sun-suk, and even Park Ae-jung helped Kumja's vengeance on Baek Han-sang. This is because Gamja helped them, making the witch or mania go to the hospital, giving also young her kidney, taking care of the prisoner of Alzheimer, Go Sun-suk. Onto these behaviors, Peg knows that Gamja approaches to be an authoritarian leader. This is the picture of Yang sees Hello around Gamja. Hello is a circle of light around saints. But the approaching authoritarian leader, Peck states that Gamja's fellow prisoners cannot deny how the favors show cast. This is because Gamja helped the prisoners from violence of the mania and finally killed the mania who believes the prisoners. Thus, Gamja takes the charismatic authority instead of the mania. Now we are going to watch the scene that Gimda discovers the tranquility of victims from Baek Han-sang. These are shots that Gumda discovers Baek Han-sang's mobile phone and the belongings of the kidnapped victims. First, she recognizes that the mobile is of the boy whom she kidnapped Wonmo. Next, her anger and guilt rapidly increase because of those trinkets. In other words, these trinkets spur Gumja's burdens of atonement for the victims. In these shots, there are families of kidnapped children. After taking vengeance on Baek-han-sang, the families have a chocolate cake at the Naruse bakery. After having a chocolate cake, silence falls over the table. Then Seon's father says, "The passing of the angel." So now the parents of victims look up and touch trinkets of their children. Yeah, let's watch the clip of the smoke around a chandelier. Okay, now we can see the smoke around a chandelier, and based on Paik, the camera cranes downward and upward to flame smoke around a chandelier. The close-up of hands of parents touching trinkets. They are searching for something, maybe the image of their children. Okay, this is the reference. Okay, this is the end of my lecture. Thank you for listening.